We have a special guest today, the one and only Samantha Shakira Clarke, aka Sammy Pie. She comes to us from Vancouver, but originally born out of Australia. Just so many accolades about this wonderful being and friend. And so, Sammy, without further ado, I would just want to go ahead and allow you to introduce a little bit about yourself. But really quick, so Sammy has a repertoire of things on her resume. She was the on the first season of the Australian Ninja Warrior. She is a vegan athlete. She was an actress on the longest standing Australian TV show called Home and Away. And right now she's pursuing a acting career up in Vancouver, very passionate about influencing people on ethics, especially when it comes to animal cruelty. And she and I connected on Instagram, and just a wonderful person to talk with. And so, Sammy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Wow, what a question. Where do I start? I've got to say, thank you for that beautiful introduction. When I hear like my life's work in a sentence, like, oh, I've done quite a bit, but as a human, I never feel like I've done enough. But when you hear it in summary, you're like, yeah, that's enough. Anyway. It's nice to hear it all in one, because spread over 30 years, I never feel like I'm doing enough. A bit about me. Well, I'm vegan, so I think that's something I'm very passionate about. I wasn't always. I think my life kind of led me to try and see the kindness and the good in the world and try and behave kind and compassionately. And I've been an athlete. I was a semi-professional boxer and kickboxer, lived in Thailand, training Muay Thai, a calisthenics athlete, so Ninja Warrior. I'm a yoga teacher. I'm an actress. I've been a presenter. I basically have just done anything entertainment and anything fitness. So anything that's healthy and anything that touches people and allows them to tap into a form of truth.
Oh
That's
my
kind of
gosh,
a nutshell.
that is awesome. If I could have a trophy for every single one of those accolades that you just mentioned, you'd probably fill up the entire room. But one of the things that we connected on was um, I saw a couple different posts about your diet, and I wouldn't even say it's a diet, more of like a lifestyle that you lead. Um, and I think the reason why that resonated with me and a bunch of my friends and community is because you really have like three main reasons why going vegan is one of the best things that you can do for yourself, for our earth, and for all life in general. Um, would you mind telling us a little bit about those three reasons?
Yeah, I will, if you don't mind. I'll speak in order of what's important to me. And really, there's no reason not to. And they fall into three categories, but it really encompasses everything. So for me, the main reason has always and will always be animal cruelty, or certainly the way that we're um, treating the animals, not just the fact that we're consuming them, but the way we're doing it. I just cannot accept the industry. I know too much. So there's animal cruelty, and then the environmental impacts, which they're pretty close to being irreversible. And that was secondary to me because the animals are here in front of me and I don't want to hurt them. Yeah, we're really not going to be able to breathe oxygen essentially in probably about 40 years if we continue the way we're doing. And then third is health. And I know that's a lot of people's priority, but for me, it was just a really happy byproduct. And, I think you know this, Henry, I went vegetarian at 7 years old. There was, little sausages and there's like gristle. Like the texture was just disgusting to my little 7-year-old mouth. And I said to my mother, I was like, I don't want to eat this. And she was like, well, why don't you become a vegetarian? I never thought that was an option. And from that day, I was a vegetarian. It was just she was being facetious completely. Like she was being a brat, but
Mhm.
the child in me went, yeah, that's what my body wants. And I stuck with it for the majority of my life. And, I've had hiccups, but I've now shifted to vegan because I don't know, when you know better, you do better, you know?
Yeah. So I love how you summed up those three reasons. And if you don't mind, could we dive into a little bit of each one of those?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So you said first and foremost, the compassion for all life, on all lives, not just humans, but all animals matter. And um, I appreciate that you went back into your childhood at age 7. But I think that there, for anyone out there, they have to have like a mission behind this because you're going to have hiccups along the way. And I love how you use that word hiccups because everyone has those. Um, can you describe to us the a couple different instances along your path that have reminded you and encouraged you to continue showing compassion for all life in terms of animal cruelty?
Well, that's the word, and I know I've mentioned that word. It's compassion. I feel like if you can have the the world needs more compassion. We need to give it to ourselves. We need to give it to our family. We need to give it to cultures and humans we don't understand, and we need to give it to animals. And if we can offer compassion and altruism to animal species which essentially serve us, they serve our taste buds, they serve us for clothes. If we can offer full compassion to them, it will go inward, so we will be able to easier access compassion to different gender, different culture, different race. We would have compassion to, our auntie that pisses us off. We'll have compassion towards ourselves. So I think, on a material level, it's obviously you don't want to watch animals or be part of animal suffering. For me, it's a non-negotiable. But on a less than tangible level, if you can extend that compassion towards a being which actually serves you not to be compassionate, the compassion you will move through day to day will be paramount to your healthy relationships, because you'll be able to see everything through the eyes of love. And we are conditioned to love dogs and cats, and to consume cow and chickens. And if you've ever gone and spent time with animals in the wild or in a farm, or you've brought them into your home for any more than an hour, you will know that they are beautiful, living, vibrant beings with unique personalities. Like pigs are more intelligent than dogs, and they feel just as much trauma as dogs do. We take a sad or anxious dog to a vet hospital, and we pay exuberant amount of money for its welfare. But we're then radical if we want to offer a pig just basic rights to a happy life. And for me, it's just about the overriding understanding that all life is to be valued, and all life has reverence, and doesn't matter. Like I can't personally, my partner makes fun of me with this, I can't even kill a mosquito. I just don't understand, just
Not even
because I'm
bugs, huh?
bigger than. Huh?
Not even bugs?
No, not for me, but I've never been able to. And I will say with the animal thing, and this could be a bit of a talking point and people may disagree, but I think everything in life has got a bit of a pendulum swing. We're in one way and we need to kind of go the other way. I do think the secondary benefit to outside of veganism would be hunting. If you can look a cow in the eye and shoot it and skin it and consume all of it and have reverence for it, then maybe go ahead. But the majority of people cannot do that. So they should not be consuming, because they're going to a supermarket, getting a little pink slab that's been packaged, but you've got no reverence for the process that it's been through. And most of that process is hidden from us for a reason. And we'll go they have nice marketing tickets or pictures of happy cat. That's not what happens, and I know that because I've spent a lot of horrible years researching it. And I think that's, if we can have more compassion and more curiosity and really fact check, then we'll remove ourselves from cognitive dissonance.
Mm. Yeah, no, I definitely feel the passion behind the compassion that you have for all life, and it's fascinating because I'm not there yet,
Mhm.
but I think my journey went from 80-20, 80% eating meat and potatoes and throwing away the 20% of like junk food and, right, fruits and vegetables and stuff, and then starting to really convert into that healthier lifestyle about 3 years ago. For me,
Yeah.
your other two reasons also resonate with me pretty loudly. You said your second reason was sustainability, and I was hoping you could dive into that a little bit more too.
Yeah, so everything on this life until humans kind of existed in perfect balance, and we're irreversibly throwing that balance off, and that isn't woo woo. That's it's science is kind of proving it, and science has known this for a long time, but it's been shunned by mainstream media. Don't want to get political, but governments, because it hasn't had an economic benefit. So it's really been put on the back burner, whereas now it's getting to the point where it is irreversible. And one of the things, again, I think I've mentioned this before to you, Henry, there's an algae in the ocean called phytoplankton. Now, most people may know it or not, but essentially it lives off the fecal matter of dolphins and fish and sunlight as well. But dolphins and fish also eat that to live. So they're in a nice little balance. Now, we're fishing at a rate that is unsustainable. We're fishing at a rate that there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish by 2045.
Wow.
Yeah. And so when we're fishing, we're taking away the food source from this phytoplankton. And people can go, well, it's just algae. What does it matter? It's conservatively responsible for 50 to 75% of the breathable oxygen that humans need to survive, more than trees. Conservatively 50%. Scientists are saying it's probably more, about 75. So our children are really not going to have air quality just based on fishing alone.
Mm, wow.
So that's one, and it's powerful. I could reel off 10, but there really is no need. I think we just need to be really mindful of the way we're consuming, and nobody is perfect. We are all human, but I think if we can just take a couple of moments to look what's in a product, look where it came from, look if there's different packaging, look if the company that you're purchasing from or the hotel that you're going to stay at has any form of give back to the United Nations Sustainable Goals, the 16 of them. Life on land, life on sea, gender equality, like any form of giving back is making a stronger and a kinder choice. And I've said this to you many times before, Henry, I really think it all comes down to limiting the negative impact you have on the world. And that comes down to choosing the stronger choice in every single moment. And you may have to think about that choice. You may take a minute or 2 or 5 minutes of research. But I'll also say the strongest choice is always the most loving choice. And sometimes that's more loving for you. Sometimes you need medication and it has an animal product in it, but you need to survive and go use your energy for good in the earth. And sometimes it's taking a minute to choose a different option so that you can be selfless and be a little bit more altruistic. But you will not know what the stronger choice is. You will not know what the more loving choice is unless you take a minute and do a bit of research,
Yeah.
inward as well as outward, like really sit with your body and go, do I need this?
Right. And I,
And
I,
then
I
research
love
outward as well.
I love how you use that word options, because I think a lot of people are just accustomed to what they were brought up with. They were used to eating a bunch of meat on their plate, and then a little bit of garnished, maybe a can of green beans or a can of corn, which isn't really a vegetable anyway. Um, and so, and the fact that you brought up, it's interesting, the algae example. Um, I think the one of the things that really resonates with our community that this is going out to, our Juice Plus community prides ourselves on the fact that everything to the capsule itself is made of plants. It's completely vegan, and a lot of people don't know that there are other alternative options to, let's say, fish oils. They think, oh, fish is super healthy for you because you get your omega 3s, and they don't know that there's other options. The algae, very very easy to harvest and replicate out there. And so instead of going to the 4 pounds of fish to get 1 little ounce of oil, fish oil that needs to be triple filtered, because of all the toxins out there. And then how many of those fish are actually edible and how much life is being wasted just to get a little ounce of oil. Um,
Yeah, and a lot of people, sorry to interrupt, but a lot of people aren't aware of the big deal around capsules. Like they don't know what gelatin is and where it derives from, and it is pig fat, and it is the offshoots of pig, and it because it helps bind. Like it's in a lot of candy, it's in a lot of capsules, and the amount of animal destruction just for a capsule. You think if you go into one chemist and you look at how many bottles and how many pills are in each bottle and how many chemists are in the country, in the world, if 50% of them just shifted to plant-based capsules, it would be a paramount change. It would be unbelievable, be unfathomable, the numbers, because the numbers we're using to consume is unfathomable. All you need to do is go and stand in one chemist or one 7-Eleven and just take a minute and think of the animal product in there. And the thing is, and I know I'm skipping forward to health, but animal protein is inflammatory for your nervous system, for your body. So everything you put into your body either acidifies or alkalizes it. And acidity is not a great thing. And so even this fish, sure, it has the nutrients, it has the minerals, it's got benefits, but it does have negative effects as well. It's inflaming your system. And plants don't do that. I mean, look, some plants do. There's a whole world we can go into with that. Like everything in the world wants to kind of evolve. So some plants have little poisons that we can consume if we consume too much of it. Lactose, like we can go. But plants, as a rule, are just the better option for everybody and everything. And also, without going too hippie, like we need reverence for them too. You know, we need to treat our soil better. We need to treat the plants better as well, because they do profound things for the human body.
Yeah. I love one of the conversations that you and I have had just getting to know each other um, was what are the negative sides of eating a plant-based diet versus what are the negative sides of eating a meat-based diet. And I love how you mentioned that there really aren't any negative effects.
Not if you do it right. You know, there's a lot of people that will say, and there's some accuracy in, you know, if you go on a vegan diet, you struggle to get all your nutrients. You go on a standard American diet, you struggle to get all your nutrients, and that's packed with it. So we all are struggling to get nutrients because we have destroyed the soil and we use pesticides, and we don't have, like, so B12, for example, was naturally found trace elements in soil. And so we go, oh, well, we get iron and B12 from cattle. But 80%, I think, of American cattle is actually, and you have to fact check me on 80%, but it might actually be 90, is actually fed not only antibiotics, but B12 in their food. So we're not getting that from the cow, we're getting it from the cow's nutrition. And so every debate against veganism is not actually got to do, or plant-based, is not actually got to do with we shouldn't be eating more plants, meat has the option. It's actually got to do with how the industries have destroyed the planet. And there's rebuttal for all of it. And so, you know, there's been too much money made out of the meat industry. They've got too much money for marketing, and it's only been in the last 5 or so years that we're really being able to go behind the meat industry, behind the dairy industry, and get real honest answers. And it takes a few documentaries, it takes a few interviews, it takes a little bit of research, but it's, you know, we've got to start choosing the planet over money. And that's what it comes down to. We've got to start choosing our health and our children's health and our grandchildren's health over our selfish desire for what tastes good in the moment. And really, when we start doing that, we will vote with our dollar, because if we're shifting to, you know, gelatin-free capsules, if we're shifting to plant-based burgers, I can guarantee you in 10 years from now, if we shift that way, the burgers will taste better. They will taste just as good, if not better. We vote with our dollar, and we got to give our money to things we're proud of. And then that's for our health. You want to talk about health, like our nervous system, our esoteric being will be more vibrant because we'll be proud of what we're consuming. We'll be proud of who we are. That has the lightness about it that's far more powerful for our energy body. It's far more powerful for our nervous system, because we can go to bed at night with an open heart, and a solid conscience. And I don't know anything that's healthier than that. I really don't. I don't. And I mean that on a really tangible level, like the lightness, the vibration in our body is palpable.
So aside from the physical benefits, health benefits of going into a plant-based, um, all interrelated with your mental health, your spiritual health. I know that you're a mindful, like meditation coach. Is that correct? A mindful mentor.
Yeah, so I'm a yoga teacher, meditation, mindfulness. It's called heart to heart mentoring is what I offer people, but it's all I just help people with what they need. There's many umbrellas I can fit under.
Just
Yeah.
another three titles that you can add to your accolades there, right?
Yeah. I think it should just be human trying her best.
Right. I love
Yeah.
that. Absolutely love
Yeah.
that. And that's a
Yeah.
great transition into your third reason, not only compassion for all life and sustainability for our earth, but the health benefits. I know you mentioned, meat and dairy are natural inflammatories. You also mentioned, it just takes a little bit of extra effort to consider the options out there because they are out there. Um, and I think what would be helpful for people to hear is, um, for someone like you who has lived this, um, it might seem unattainable for someone who is just getting started. So, what
Yeah.
kind of tips would you say uh, to jumpstart people into moving towards a plant-based diet?
Honestly, it depends on the person. So for me, I was so moved by the it was actually what got me vegan was the Australian bushfires. I'm Australian and I saw that um it was at that time it was 500 million animals have died, and then I correlated that that's how many are slaughtered every 2 days. And I was already vegetarian, but I also know like the dairy industry is arguably more horrific than the meat industry, but we won't go into that detail today. um it like that it became so much more important to me because I felt like I was sobbing about these bushfires, but I was a hypocrite because I knew what I knew, and then I was still choosing what in my time the selfish choice. So for me that was it. I never went back and I will not go back. I may have hiccups, but as a moral compass, I am that's everything we do is a statement to the universe saying this is who I am, and that was the choice I had to make. And so for somebody else, they could be more passionate about the environment, the ocean, the land. So go and research, go. And then for others, it could be health. Go and watch documentaries like Game Changers, or, go and do research on your own, because I could give tips that worked for me, but I am so individual, as anybody that's watching this. So I wouldn't feel pressure to be perfect because that's impossible. Like we're human. You till the day you die, you will not be perfect at anything. But you can be happy and you can attempt and you can choose a kinder, loving, more powerful, stronger, honest choice. And I think if you just go and do anybody, if you go and do enough research about the most passionate part of plant-based or veganism that you feel in your core or your heart, there will come a day where you're a little bit closer to it. There will come a day where you don't feel like eating meat. And so I could give tips, but there's nothing more powerful than going inward and going, what do I want to learn?
Mhm.
What do I want to be educated on so that I can really make my choice and be on the right side of history and make my choice knowing. An example is my partner, Michael, he ate meat when he met me. And I said to him, look, I will never judge you. I was vegetarian at the time. I said, I will never judge you. You do you. And he's like, I'm going to go vegetarian because I love animals, but I can never give up eggs. I was like, great. I'm very proud of you. That's limiting your negative impact on the world. We were in Hawaii before COVID with his mother, and I love his mother, and she quite rightfully doesn't like wasting food. So she had eggs in the fridge. And this is Michael saying he'd never give up eggs. We had to go and we're moving rooms. And she's like, Michael, eat the food, eat the eggs. And I said, Michael, eat the eggs. And he's like, I don't want to eat the eggs. I'm like, Michael, eat the eggs. So he like begrudgingly made these, and I could see like his body quivering while he was cooking them. And he told me out, he ate them. He told me after he was almost dry reaching, like he was almost wanting to vomit. His body didn't want them, but his mind had told him, I can't give up that, because he's got this pattern of the past and his ideas of what's healthy or what he thinks he wants. When it actually came down to it and we pushed him into that situation, his body had a visceral effect.
Mm.
So if you can listen to your body, even if you like cut it out for a little bit, because some people just need to do one day without meat. Some people like me need to go cold turkey. And so again, you know yourself, like you know who you are. And if you don't, I would spend a year finding that out and then choose what works for you. But going back to the compassion thing, we still need to be compassionate towards ourselves. So if it's something you really want, beating yourself up because you're not there yet doesn't serve you or anyone at all, at all, at all, at all. Just one little choice, and listen to your body and see if you can make one strong choice at a time. And maybe you have a skincare product or shower gel and you look at it and you realize it's got milk, which it probably does. Just choose a different shower gel. And there you go. You're limiting your negative impact.
And when we're looking at not only the impact that we have on the planet, but again, going back to our health, I love the one simple changes. Add one simple change, and then another simple change, and eventually, you'll get to where you arrive. And it's all about having your why at the root of that. Um,
Yeah.
One of those simple
And I
changes.
will say,
Go ahead.
sorry, but just in case he's watching this and takes Sammy's idea to go cold turkey, don't like that analogy. Let's get rid of the turkey. Anyway, just as I said it, I'm like, poor turkey. But there can be a pretty substantial detox process when you're cutting out meat or dairy or any acidifiers or anything that's toxic to you. A lot of heavy metals releasing in your system. You might, like, some people get the sweats. So, and then they go, well, I don't like this. This isn't for me. But you've got to relate it to an alcoholic who's got withdrawal symptoms, when they're getting rid of all of that coming out of their body, because food these days is an addiction. Sugar is more addictive than cocaine. It lights up the same part of your brain. So we are addicted to our food, and we're addicted to our past, and we're addicted to our patterns. So I just really want to make sure that people know, if they are deciding to really cut one thing out or everything out, the first few weeks may not be an indicator as how you feel, how you will feel going forward, but an indicator of how your body hasn't been able to release that toxin because you've still been putting it back in. So be prepared to feel like shit for a little bit, but that's good.
I believe that's what in our Juice Plus community we call that a detox.
Yeah.
And that usually happens during those first 5 days. I remember my experience when I converted. I did a 10-day juicing cleanse, just strictly vegan, and that first 5 days I felt horrible, but it was my body's way of releasing 30 plus years of toxins, so I can replace it with the good stuff.
Our body is incredible at restoring to homeostasis, restoring to balance, if we give it time. If we give our digestive system a chance to rest, if we give our skin a chance to, our body's incredible at doing it. We just have so many stresses. And I mean, hormonal, emotional, toxicity from the air. We're not really getting enough nature. So one thing that we're doing all day, every day, is eating. I cannot stop living a stressful life because I'm in the Western world. I can reduce it, but I can't stop it. I cannot stop cars from driving around me because they have free will. But what I can do is stop toxicity from the inside. And I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find anybody who tells you it's not actually the most important one. Stress is a killer, and emotional, psychological stress it's something definitely I would love, I want people to work on, but that can be challenging. It could take a lot of work. The stress that food puts in our system can be immediately reversed, immediately, in one day for a lot of people.
Right types of food, right?
Yeah, the right time. There's timing as well. Like, you don't want to eat just before you go to bed because your digestive system, but there's just so many avenues we can go down. But the simple one is, if it looks like it looked like in the earth, eat it. If it gave little harm, eat it. If it is a plant, it's probably pretty good for you than the other option. It's
And
really simple. It is, but we live in a world that tells us to avoid simplicity, but we need to go back there.
yeah,
And we need to live compassionately. And I know I keep repeating that, but it's um, everything, and my story. I've had a colorful past and a colorful upbringing, and there's nothing more important than compassion and transparency. And I think those two things, and there's a reason why a lot of egg companies don't, they put this beautiful picture of happy chickens. That's a stock picture. That's not the chickens. There's a few that will go, this is from the farm, but you don't have to. There's no right. There's no law to tell you. So what are you hiding? Why not? Transparency and compassion. And if they're not offering you transparency, go find it. And I guarantee you will bleed compassion. You will have so much. If you are present and open to learn, you'll have so much love for your fellow beings that you'll bubble inside and you want to make a change. And again, it could be because of the animals, it could be because the environment, it could be because you want your children to live healthily, but there's something, and every day you can move a little closer to vibrancy, which to me, vibrancy and love are pretty similar.
well, Sammy, it's been a pleasure to have you on here, and I'm looking forward to hearing about your Juice Plus experience too. It's on
Yeah,
its way, and
I haven't tried it yet, but I will. It's on the way, isn't it? I can't wait. I'm genuinely very, very excited because even as a vegan, I'm so busy. I'm not always eating, so I'm actually looking forward to plants in my body.
right. And one of the things that I'm really excited for you to experience too is, you mentioned about the, no negative effects about having plants, and that's really what it is. And so, flooding your body with these 30 different fruits and vegetables on a daily basis, getting rid of the toxins, and really, healing at the cellular level. I think as an athlete, you you can speak to the difference between when you are eating meat and when you are eating a huge variety of plants on a daily basis. Can you touch on that really quick?
Yeah, I just recover quicker. And, the best, and again, I've been vegetarian since I was 7. But the best example is my partner. When he went vegetarian, he's a triathlete and he just recovers better. And it blew him away because he, again, did it because of animal reasons, and probably because his girlfriend was like pushing him in that direction. But he was really surprised that he started recovering better. He actually was preparing himself for a bit more of a grudge or a trudge. What's that word? Well, just a bit more hard work in recovery, and it actually was the opposite effect. And so he immediately was sold after that. And that's my best example because I've done it for a long time. But watching my partner, a triathlete, endurance athlete, preparing himself to have to recover a bit more, and he actually found himself recovering less. And again, it's down to the inflammation. Plants are incredible, incredible, incredible healers and teachers. They've been around a long time before us. They have incredible properties, and we need to go back to really researching them and honing in on what they can give us in therapeutic benefits and healing benefits. They are profound, and they are our biggest teachers, and they are our biggest healers, and there's nothing that can replace it. You look at all these medications, largely even the man-made ones, they've got a plant derivative in it. Powerful, powerful, powerful. Nothing's affected my hormones more than these natural pills I'm taking. Like, plants are the answer. They really are. And I'm open for debate on it, but I do my research, and every day it's solidifying it. And maybe we've got a confirmation bias, but I like to think I'm pretty neutral until I find enough and I go, okay, I got a tip.
Well, for someone who has walked the walk and talked the talk and gone through some and seen benefits with your repair, with your recovery, with hormonal balances, with your endurance, and the turning your blood to an alkaline versus acidity. Just go on and on and on. So really appreciate you being able to share with us. Again, those 3 reasons of compassion and sustainability and health, of going to a plant-based and vegan diet. And just a word of encouragement to anyone out there. Um, you know, taking one simple change at a time, and really doing research, talking to people, surrounding yourself with people like Sammy. Sammy, if there's someone wants to follow you, what's the best
Mhm.
way for them to do so?
Um, Samantha Shakira Clarke is my name. That's my actual real name. People think Shakira is a false name, but my mother gave it to me. So Samantha Shakira Clarke, that's on Instagram. It's on Facebook as Samantha Shakira Clarke Official. And then I've got samanthashakiraclarke.com, which is more for my acting and presenting. And then I do have a sustainable company called Slice and Pie, but we can't travel anymore. So that's on hold for a bit. So if you type in Samantha Shakira Clarke, you will find me. And again, if anybody does disagree, or if they want to fact check me, or if they want to ask questions about what I said, like, I am here to serve. We're all here to serve, so I'm aware of that's what we're on the planet for. And so I want to serve any human that wants to move a little closer to the truth, or wants to, push back and get curious, because I think curiosity is what's going to guide the way to a kind of more fuller future. I really do.
That is awesome, and I love, again, your passion, your authenticity. Thank you so much for sharing that with us today. And I'll leave in the caption here your Instagram handle so they can follow you on there, and a
Yeah.
link to your website as well. So,
Okay.
any final words for everyone out there?
No, I just hope I served, and I hope as you go along this journey, you keep most of your kindness for yourself. We can throw it out there, but it's gotta start in here. So kind, and then compassion.
Great, awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and